Hey guys, it's Brandon here from Screw Cancerless Race, and today we're doing a little bit of work on the tow rig for the actual race car. Opened that box with all of the parts from Amazon with the when I was working on the pedals the other day, and I had this guy in here, this Motorcraft thermostat. So that thermostat's pretty important. I've got a dead thermostat in the truck. It's running a little hot, and then it finally lifts, and everything's fine. But while I'm at it replacing the thermostat, I'm going to replace the thermostat housing. So instead of going with just a plastic one or whatever, I'm going to replace it with a bit of aluminum, a little bit of bling here. So it came with new hardware. And there it is right there, black anodized aluminum. So I did a similar upgrade on my BMW 135i last winter, and it worked out really well. It looks good, it's reusable, I don't have to stress about it. So anyway, we're gonna get to work. First things first, I think we need to go and drain the coolant so we don't make so much of a mess when we go and pull the thermostat out. Alright, so you see that white petcock up there, so we're going to pull that out. I think it's just a plastic plug. So we'll pull that out, and theoretically we should be able to drain enough coolant here to be able to make less of a mess when we get the thermostat out. So here goes nothing. Alright, coolant is draining, so we're going to go ahead and just let that drain for a little bit, and we'll come back to it topside. Alright, so got the coolant mostly drained here, and we'll squeeze the hose up here, make sure everything's good. I just cracked the bolts here. There's 3 8mm bolts to pull the thermostat housing out, and everything's good. Just a tiny little dribble of coolant coming out here, and that's kind of to be expected, a little bit of residue from the hose. But anyway, I'm going to switch this over to time-lapse mode and get to changing everything out. Alright, it's getting a little bit dark out here, and I've reached a stopping point. Unfortunately, I broke a bolt. It didn't take much. It broke right off with the first turn of the ratchet, which sucks because obviously every project is one broken bolt away from disaster. So I've worked for about 45 minutes or so to get the bolt out, and I'm gonna just call it a night, work on it again tomorrow. Here's what we're working with over here. Let me flip this around so I can see what we're looking at. So we've got the thermostat housing right down there, and I had to pull the serpentine belt off. Not a big deal. Only took a couple of minutes to do that. But that lower left bolt there decided it didn't want to stay together anymore. So somebody else has apparently had that problem one point before. So we're gonna get it out tomorrow. We'll retap that hole, make it all better. But for now, we're gonna call it a night. Come back at it again with a little bit less frustration tomorrow. Hi, it's Brandon here from Screw Cancer Let's Race. Day number 2 of the thermostat project in the tow rig here. I wound up breaking off a bolt in the thermostat housing, so I wound up putting this guy back on here. This is the old thermostat housing, and I use this as a drill guide. So you can see this one right here is slightly warped a little bit, not too bad, but we wound up using this as a drill guide to drill out the hole. I'm in the middle of tapping it right now. So we're just gonna wind up drilling it and tapping it and seeing if we can get the alignment of the new thermostat housing to line up. Otherwise, we're just gonna reuse the old one. But that's where we're at. It took a little bit of sleep, some fresh eyes, and a fresh mind, but we've got a solution, and we're making progress. All right, so we made it all the way through with the tap. Nice and easy, slow is the name of the game. So it took about 20 minutes to tap the hole out, but we've got a fresh M6x1 hole here. And if we're lucky, it might even line up with the new housing for the upper thermostat. So we'll see. I'm gonna test fit the thermostat housing in just a minute. Okay. Let's see if I can't grab a torque spec. So just got back from a 20-minute test drive, and everything seems to be holding pretty well. So the temperature gauge stayed about 3/8 over cold, which is exactly where it's supposed to be. No fluid leaks here. I wound up replacing the hose because we put the old hose back on with the original hose clamps, and we wound up with a little bit of a leak. So we went to Napa, picked up a new hose. Fortunately, it had a part number on the old hose, so it was pretty easy to get. So new hose clamps. Topped everything back off, so still about 3/4 of a gallon short on coolant. So that sounds like a lot, but it takes like 7 gallons, so it's fine. But anyway, everything appears to be good, so I think the Miata Vice tow rig is back in business.